Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Great.
Thank you for being here. Welcome to today's event, Business Management, What Comes Next, Alumni Panel, organized by our Alumni Relations team, myself, Evgenia Lloyd, and Dr. Stephanie Delight-Fuller, who you all know very well. My name is Mina, and I'll be your panel chair today. I'm one of the seminar leaders of this module. I do not see familiar faces in this room, because I may not be your seminar leader, but anyway, thank you for being here. I'm joined by a wonderful panel of recent graduates from various business management courses who will share insights on career options after graduation. The panel will briefly introduce themselves, then I'll put some questions to them, followed by plenty of time for Q&A. After the Q&A session, some colleagues from the alumni team will share some information on some helpful employability opportunities and resources that you may use. Finally, we'll have a little social session at the end where you can ask the speakers further questions and connect with each other. I'll go over some housekeeping rules. This session is recorded, but students will not be recorded. There will be around 30 minutes towards the end for a Q&A session. Questions can be asked by raising your hand or submitting questions to Mentimeter by opening menti.com and entering the code above. Can everyone see the code? Great. The recording will be shared with students after the event. Great. Shall we begin? Panelists, shall we begin? Okay, fantastic. Today we have 4 alumni speakers who not so long ago sat in your very seats and have now gone to pursue their interests in exciting career fields. Let's welcome them. We have Aram, Evelyn, Diana, and Marat. The panelists, please go ahead and introduce yourselves. Marat, do you want to go ahead?
Okay, sure. It's Matt here. I am a data analytics developer. I was here a couple of years ago. I was studying business management. On my second year, I decided to go to master's degrees, and I started preparing myself for that. And then I decided to go Manchester University. Once I finished my master's degree, I started working as a data analytics developer in an educational technology company. And today I can talk to you guys about the interview process, how I was going through, what are the challenges, and all that kind of stuff. You can ask me. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Diana. I finished studying in 2023. I was in management and marketing. Now I'm pursuing my master's and I work in digital marketing. And I think you see in that picture, I was in one of our retailers taking pictures with products. I can give any advice if you need when it comes to the career journey after uni and also in marketing specifically. Thank you for having me here.
Hello, my name is Evelyn Amtebi. I'm the founder of Shua Consultancy and Accounting Services Limited. I graduated here from Business Management and Finance. So anyone who is looking to start their own company, please, you can talk to me. I can give you some advice from the beginning up to the end. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Aram Tufan and I am the founder of Happy Students. I'm a recent graduate from the University of Westminster. I studied business management.
Great. Shall we start the questions? Are we ready? Can everyone hear us at the back? Okay, fantastic. So tell us, how was your experience at the University of Westminster? Did the university help you figure out what path you wanted to take? And if yes, how did that happen?
I think I can answer that. Definitely, University of Westminster helped me with my career. As I mentioned, I was in my second year, and I was at a position where I was going to choose where am I going to in terms of career. So, University of Westminster provided me a mentoring scheme where you meet with someone from the industry and he's telling you what he's going through, how he was challenging with the issues and stuff. That scheme helped me a lot and helped me to choose my career.
Great. Diana, do you want to add to that?
Say that again?
I was going to ask Diana if she wanted to share her experience.
If you have trouble knowing what to do at the university, it's completely normal. Don't worry about it. I only did find out what I wanted to do in my second semester of my third year, mostly because I didn't really know any of the resources that the university provides. But now that I do know, I'm still taking advantage of them, including the engagement website and also the mentoring program. You can also train for Western working cultures are very important. That helped me a lot to find out what I wanted to do, and just join as many things as you can while you're studying so you can find out what you want to do.
Great.
Actually, when I came to the university, I kind of knew what I wanted to do because from a very young age, I always wanted to be an accountant or to become an auditor specifically. So when I joined business management and finance, I always knew I have to work in the finance industry. But being in finance industry is very, very competitive and work is very hard to find. So when I joined, I didn't really know how to start a business, but through the training I got from the university, via Engage, this helped me to get the training I needed. And during COVID, when everybody was stuck at home, that's when I realized that actually I can give this a go. So I used the resources from the university for training to how to innovate my business to make it a reality. And that's when Shua Consultancy was invented.
I think the university has been tremendously supportive of the students. Even now, after I graduated, they are being very supportive. And so when I first had the idea, I went to Student Cisco Creators Program, where we were able to run a very thorough research, and I was given 2 professors, 2 PhD students, and 2 students of my own choice to work on my project. And then there is We Network, which is also Westminster Enterprise Network, I think it's called. They also are really supportive in terms of how to turn your idea into a business. And the career department as well. I'm sure also, whenever I needed support, I would reach out to my professors, and they would always provide support that I needed. So yeah, I would say the university has been really, really supportive for my journey. So.
Was there a specific module you took or a specific moment when you were at university where you're like, wow, I feel very supported? What was that spark of a moment for you?
It was definitely when I actually decided what I wanted to do. I just realized that I'm interested in more technical stuff. So I don't know, is Rachel, is she still here?
Yes, she is.
Yeah. I just went to her room and I just said, this is what I wanted to do. I was in my second year. How can you help me? What are the subjects and what are the technical subjects that I can take? And she helped me with that, and I learned a little bit more technical stuff with subjects like forecasting for managers, where it was trying to find out the statistical exponentials of the figures and all that stuff. So that was really useful for me.
Great. Rachel, if you're watching this, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Great. So I want to take a step back, or maybe 5 steps back, to some of your initial worries when you were about to graduate. Did you feel that, what were some of the worries in your head about finding employment opportunities, especially considering COVID-19, if you happened to graduate during that time? What was your experience like?
I think I can add some insight into this. I think I've spent the last 6 months before graduating not working because I quit my previous job. And throughout my journey of finding a new job, I was stressed every day. So if you're experiencing that, it's fine. You'll get over it, just like I did. Hopefully hopefully I won't go through that again. Focus on networking, do that a lot, and it will help you to get out of any professional situation that you might need help with. It will be very, very useful.
Evelyn? The question is, what were some of your initial worries about when you wanted to find employment after graduation?
Basically, me, when I was studying, I didn't really want to go into employment. I wanted to be self-employed. So all my focus was like, how can I grow my business? And my biggest challenge was raising that initial finance to invest into my business. But I used, because I used the savings I had plus the student finance money I was getting as my initial capital. But because my business didn't need a very big investment, so that what I had was actually enough. But raising finance, that was my biggest challenge.
Ara, would you like to add? You knew, maybe walk us through what happened after graduation.
Yes. All right. So I think once I graduated, I started my business while I was studying at the university. So the moment I graduated, I was able to work on my business for full time, and that's when the things really takes roll on, and things just move faster than when I was studying at the university. So I was really happy that I could finally focus on my business. But yeah, I was looking forward to graduate and start working on my business for full time. Yeah.
So you were looking for jobs and working on your business at the same time?
No, I never looked for jobs because I've been working on Happy Student, and I work in other businesses as well, but my main focus has been my business.
Okay, fantastic. So you started your business while you were a student, and then after you graduated, you continued to work on your business. Can you maybe tell us what the process was of setting up your business in the UK, given you were an international student?
Yes. So at first, I asked my partner, who was a British citizen, to start a business for me. And eventually, when I graduated, I got my visa so that I could start my own business here, in which I started my company. Then the company was transferred to my name.
Wow, wonderful. Great.
But it was really nice to see the name of the company there, and it was very exciting. So.
Great, thank you. Evelyn, you've also started your own business. Can you maybe talk us through what the setup was like for you? What were some steps you had to go through, things you didn't know, and you learned during that process?
Actually, my business has always been like a learning process. Every day I learn something different. Initially, before you open up a business, you need to be in good terms with HMRC. So you have to first register your company so that it's legal, and register for tax, and also get the insurance so that you can protect yourself and the business in case maybe a client doesn't pay or you cause any damages to the client. That insurance helps you to go through that. Also, you need to create like a landing page where clients can find you. That's creating a website where they can go and see your products. Then you can use other social media platforms to market your product, but you must have like a landing page where people can find you. And also a bank account is important to separate your finances from the business finances. This helps you at the year end, when you're submitting your returns to the tax man. So yeah, it's good to separate your expenses personal from the business.
Fantastic, thank you. Diana, you went through the hiring process after graduation.
Yeah, I went through multiple hiring processes.
Oh wow, multiple. Can you walk us through that, some of the ups and downs that you experienced? How was that process for you?
So the hiring process comes with learning a lot of things. Firstly, how to keep your cool when you're nervous. That's very important. I went through hiring processes for both corporations and also startups, and they're completely different. When you do corporation-style interviews, they'll interview they'll have more steps, let's say, and you have to do tests and sometimes exams as well. You also have to go to assessment centers, which sounds a bit more difficult. I went, for example, to an interview at the Bank of America and that was a learning experience. But if you don't know exactly if you want to go through corporations or through startups, or if you want to start your own thing, it's still good to go through the hiring process.
It's a learning experience after all, and if you don't try, you don't know whether it's not something that it's for you or not for you.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one time I was so nervous that I arrived at the interview like half an hour early, and I was just going around the block just because I wanted to be prepared, and I was answering the questions in my head over and over again. Yeah.
Do you have some tips for someone to calm their nerves before their interview? Arrive early?
I don't know.
I mean, you just did. Arrive early, go for a walk.
Exactly. I feel like if you're a nervous person in general, or you have problems with confidence, that is something that you need to work step by step every day, and just remember that as much as you want to go there, they want to see you there. So if you just show up, they'll be just as happy to have you there. And you're both ends, so you and the interviewer are on equal level, let's say. Yeah. So they're not interviewing you, you're also interviewing them at the same time.
That's wonderful advice. Thank you. Murat.
Yeah, for that, I would definitely advise. Of course, everyone is different and everyone feels various ways of avoiding challenges like that. But in my case, I was making sure that I've got other opportunities coming up, so I wouldn't really worry about that stress, because I knew that even if I can't be successful on that interview, there's others waiting for me. You know, just that experience, that usefulness of feeling that there's others as well was making me comfortable. So I definitely suggest my friends here.
So there's a mindset exercise that this is not the only job. If I don't get it, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you'll always have opportunities. Just try to create some.
And what was the process like once you wanted to move forward with that company? I know you were interviewing them as well. How many rounds of interviews did you actually end up doing?
In my case, there was 4. It was a really long process. The first one was, of course, it's cover letter and CV. Once they like it, they just give you a quick phone call, quick interview, with how you're speaking, how you're talking, how gentle you are, stuff like that. And then there was the next stage called numerical reasoning.
Reasoning?
Numerical reasoning.
Numerical reasoning.
Yeah. That's where they find out your analytical skills. They give you like a bunch of maths questions, and you just basically fight with time to just finish up. It's quite hard, but you can just practice it and be better at it. And then the final stage was behavioral analysis and face-to-face interview.
Fantastic. During the last round of your interview, did you have room to negotiate with them?
In terms of price? Or
Anything.
salary?
You could negotiate anything.
Yes, because I had other job offers as well, so that gave me an opportunity to talk about the benefits, talk about the salary, and all that stuff.
Fantastic. So if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to your university experience, in the spirit of full transparency, do you think your final grade had an impact on the job opportunities you had after graduation?
Can I answer that?
Yes, of course.
When you go into a job field, they do not necessarily care how you're grade, unless it's mostly a corporate, like large corporation, because they do want to see that you have been at classes, you're punctual, you have time management skills. I think that's what they care mostly about. But if you want to pursue your master's degree, they are more likely to care about your grades. So don't procrastinate. Get good grades. But once again, it's not something huge to worry about. It's the same as your high school diploma. People don't ask about it as much as they should, I guess. Or maybe not. I don't know. Yeah.
Anyone else? Your experience with your grades versus during school and after school?
I think the grades can contribute, but also other experience besides your grades. So if you've done some other work, maybe voluntary work that can contribute, and the university offers a lot of those opportunities here. So it's not just about the grades, but also your interpersonal skills as well can also help you, how you interact with your colleagues. Because the grades come in, but other things are also considered.
So what advice would you give to students who are working hard to make sure their assignments are on time and well-researched? What can they do on the side while they're working on their grades? What kind of activities or student societies can they join?
Shall I answer? I think, in my case, for instance, when I wanted to become an entrepreneur, I think I realized that with the subject that I was studying at the university that I was really good at, and it was for the first time I was getting really high grades because I was very happy, studying on that course. And then I went to enterprise bodies within the university, whatever support is out there and resources. So in a way, I chose what I really liked to be part of. And in my case, I think if you want to become an entrepreneur or a freelancer, there are amazing resources within the university. And for me, it was the We Network.
Mart, would you like to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think University of Westminster is already giving them a lot of opportunity. Like, in my case, it was a mentoring scheme. In your case now, mentoring scheme may not work, but here you've got like 4 examples here. It may not work as well because this what we've done may not be what you want. But then there's other choices like going to LinkedIn and asking people in the industry. Trust me, everyone wants to talk about themselves.
Yeah. 100% always do something on the side, whether it's a part-time job or volunteering or just a society, always do anything because you will always meet people along the way that will help you to find something that you wouldn't have thought about finding. Right? Go to boring events I didn't even care about, but just go there and meet people.
Yeah, right. Speaking of meeting people, how important is networking for your career? And what are some of your best practices for networking?
Very important. I think I mentioned like 3 times already.
Networking.
Yeah, I think in my second year of university I worked as a waitress, so it's obviously not a skilled job, you just have to go there because I needed money on the side. But just through that part-time job that I had, I met such incredible people that had their own businesses, people that, actually one of my ex-colleagues is on The Voice right now. And that's really cool.
Shall I pass on? Actually, networking, as you said, is very important, but you need to network with a purpose, know why you're networking. So it's not just a matter of getting people around and chatting, but please do network with a purpose. There are so many networking events at Learn and Excel. I don't know whether you've gone there or you can sign up. So most of them are free, and even here at the universities as well, they are running those networking events. So from there you can meet different people. You never know who is going to help you for your next opportunity as well. And also I wanted to mention that even being a course representative or a school rep can also help you to meet top people in the university. Those people can guide you or mentor you on how to be on the board, on how to present your work, and how to speak.
Should I? I think I totally agree with you. I used to think that I was doing network with many people, but like you said, having a purpose when you network with people is much more useful in life. For me, for my project, I think. But networking is a really important thing because people are always willing to help. Your friends are willing to help, of course. But having a purpose is when really, that you could actually get the real support from your network.
What are some examples of networking with purpose? For example, at the end of this event, we have 30 minutes for the students to network. So can you give them an example of what networking with purpose looks like?
Well, when you go to them, go to these people and ask for something, you have to have some sort of proposal, for instance, and they have to fit within that proposal as well. So you might be going to the wrong person, for instance, and ask for the wrong thing, whereas actually if you wait for a few more years and then ask, again, that would be the right time and the right thing to ask for. I think that's what I would say, purpose. And the second thing would be, again, network is important, but also we have credits for these people, so we can't ask maybe for 5 or 3 things. You can only ask for one thing. So I think it's the best to make sure that that one thing is really, he's the right person, it's the right time, and it's going to really support you in what you're asking for. That would be the purpose.
Thank you for sharing that, Diana.
Networking purpose means going somewhere, have a goal in your mind, and exactly what kind of people you want to meet. So, so a good tactic is when you go to any networking event, know exactly what you want to find out. For example, for me, I would most likely need to find new retailers to onboard into our platform. So if I go there and there's a variety of people, I'm going to introduce myself, let them introduce themselves to you. But if they're in a completely different industry, they have nothing to do with what you want to do there, just politely say, let's connect on LinkedIn, it was very fun to meet you, and you move on and you meet as many people as you can. And as soon as you get their details, remember to always connect with them in the first 24 to 48 hours of meeting them, because after that they are, I'm telling you, much less likely to respond back or maintain a connection with you.
Great tips.
Yeah.
All right. So let's just say that we might not necessarily be sure about what we want to do after graduation. Do you have any tips on how someone can find their sense of direction?
Do a master's. It's an additional year of studying without having to stress too much about a career goal. And if you're going to do a master, you can try a completely different career path. Like, for example, for me, I'm doing psychology right now. It's completely different, but it's pushing me to go in a completely different direction. But I think my colleagues have more to say about that.
Yeah, like it was, in my case, it was the moment that I decided to work on technical stuff. So that's why I decided to do masters. It was in data science, as I mentioned before. Once I graduated from Westminster University, I could still find a job, but I wanted to work in a specific field. So I've chosen a target and I focused on that. So I used my skill set and my career goals together to go forward.
If you don't know where to start from, because you're not alone. So many people, they graduate, but they actually don't even know where to start from. So it's always like you can do some voluntary work in different fields. You see whether this can work for you. If it doesn't work for you, then you can do something else. You can be flexible in your career as well. Just because you've done maybe marketing or economics or finance, it doesn't mean that you're going to stick to that particular field. So you can try to be flexible in looking for your jobs. And for those people who would like to start up their own businesses, but they actually don't know where to start from, you can see, like in your market, like in your network, what do your friends really lack? And you feel like, oh, if everybody is asking for this, that's an opportunity. I can create a business from this. Then you find out how to get started. If you're still at university, the university can take you through the whole process, but there is always something that you can start from. Even if it's being done before, maybe that like for finance, everybody is doing finance, but there is that particular thing that is specifically unique to you that you can provide to your clients. So it's always find something small and maybe ask your colleagues, ask your tutors, they can guide you through on how to get started.
Thank you for sharing that. All right, so you're all settled in your various careers, and I'd like to ask you, what do you like or dislike, or what are some of the peaks and valleys of your current role?
Yeah, go ahead.
My biggest Benefit is seeing my clients when they are very happy. Working in finance is very like providing services to clients. We run their payrolls, and when you see them that there's no staff complaining about their salaries, I work these hours and I've been paid less, or nobody complains that they've been paid more, but they always complain that I've been paid less. And to see that the clients doesn't have any complaints from HMRC, because I'm talking about that because that's the field that I'm in. If everything for my client is in line with the HMRC, they don't get those letters that they've been fined for this amount of time, they've submitted their reports very late. So that makes me happy, and if I don't get any complaint, especially on a Friday when the staff are being paid, I feel like, ooh, work well done.
I would definitely say the flexibility that my company gives me, because of course I do have a contract. It says you have to work 35 hours a week, but it's my second year on the company, and till then, no one asks me like, what time do you finish? When did you start it? It's just you've got a couple of meetings you have to attend. Other than that, you've got some tasks to do. But because I am doing what I like to do, I am usually finishing tasks that will take 4 hours in 1 hour. So that helps you too.
So is there nothing you don't like?
What I don't like?
It's work.
I think, yeah, no one likes the work, but other than that, I can't really think of.
That's great. If you can find something that is draining you at work, because you have energizers and drainers.
Yeah, because everyone is so helpful in my workplace. Like everyone is trying to help each other. There's a really great culture. It's the benefit of a big company as well. You know, they just try to embrace you. They try to make sure that you're at a good level. Sometimes my manager is just having a meet up with me to make sure how I'm feeling. I'm feeling good.
Students, did you all hear that? Merit is an example of someone who has a happy career, and they exist. And they're right here with us today. They're not some mythical creatures in some other planet. He's sitting right here. Diana, Aram, would you like to? I know, Aram, you have your own business, so it's
different.
It's different. So maybe can you talk to the students a bit about how you overcome some setbacks running your own business?
Well, I mean, there's been many setbacks, and but none of them really stopped me from going forward, because what I do is I always adapt, and I try to find solution. If I can't find one, I have advisors, an advisory board, in which I reach out to them and ask for their support, and I meet with them, and I tell them about the problem I'm having, and they would advise me the best, thing, the way to go forward, and I think that's really helpful. So, other than that, setbacks really, it's nothing that makes me. It does make me unhappy, but it doesn't stop me. So.
Great. Adapting, that's a great skill. Adapting and evolving, that's a great skill to have.
Yeah.
Great. And so a lot of students will be looking for jobs after they graduate, or even now while they're still doing their coursework. What are some platforms that they can use or tap into to look for employment opportunities, volunteer opportunities? What were some of your experiences that you can share?
I think 100% engage, take full advantage of it. There's always new listings all the time there, and you can find graduate programs, internships, volunteering, anything. And also LinkedIn, use LinkedIn as if it's Facebook. I promise it's going to help a lot.
Yeah, definitely LinkedIn helps, because there are so many people like us, it was going through that way. You should definitely use LinkedIn. But other than that, I think you should just decide how you're going to sell yourself, because companies are looking for specific things, and that specific things should match with your interested area. If you're good at analytics, just focus on that. Just try to find out how can you sell that analytics. In my case, it was data visualization, because I just realized that I'm good at it, I'm happy at it, and when I was going to interviews, I was just preparing myself about everything they can ask about visualization. So it was helping me to make sure that I'm passing that interview stage at the best standard.
Great. Were there any absolute musts in your CV, in your individual CVs, that you think helped you go further? Was there a course or certification or something that you did that you're like, if I didn't have that I wouldn't have gotten to where I am today?
I have to answer that because I focus on that really well. It's kind of a marketing, like what they're looking for, what I have, the keywords, that must be a match to make sure you're going forward.
So were you looking at job postings and then looking at your own CV and seeing how you can match the job posting?
Yes, definitely.
And did you work backwards and then take the courses they were looking for?
Yes, and those companies, there are like hundreds of applications. They are using AI, they are using keywords. They can't just go through all of those CVs. So you have to use that specific keywords, specific sentences to make sure you're going to interview stages.
That's really valuable. Anyone else?
I think I'm in a completely different industry. So for me, it was the institutional investment and gaining recognition from awards. That really helped me to move forward and have to attract investors. In my case, there is the big idea competition here, which was very useful for me. Yeah, those are the things that I would say really helped me to go forward.
And to stand out, because I think both of you were talking about little steps or big steps you took to stand out, because competition is high, there are thousands of applications.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what do you do to stand out? So you entered in a competition and you won.
I won. I mean, there are so many.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so they are all really.
Go ahead, Diana.
I have to answer that because my biggest regret was not being involved in my university work, especially in my first and half of the second year. In the first year was COVID, so it's quite understandable. I was home all day. I didn't have many resources, but as soon as I began my third year, I had the goal in mind, and that was to be as involved as possible so I can take advantage of my university years. And my regret, going back to the question, I missed out on, for example, many opportunities such as the Westminster Working Cultures. I didn't apply early enough to go on many more travel experiences. I didn't volunteer, so I don't have any volunteer opportunities experience in my CV. And also meeting people or getting closer to potential students that I could have been closer friends with. That's also really important.
My biggest regret is not using the university resources. LinkedIn at an earlier stage. I wish I had used it from my first year, but I realized it. I think it was during my second year when I started using LinkedIn, and I wasn't really using it so much. But when I realized in third year that I need to do a lot of things from this LinkedIn platform, because they provide a lot of certificates, a lot of trainings, which trainings can help you in different careers or for different jobs when you're applying for your jobs. So I really advise you to utilize the free resources in LinkedIn that the university provides. So my regret was not using LinkedIn earlier in my career.
And those are free as well. LinkedIn courses. Like whatever you like to do, there's a course for free.
Hope everyone was listening. All right, so to wrap up before I hand it over to Alex for the Q&A session, I'll go around one by one. One top piece of advice you can give to students navigating their careers. One advice.
Just decide what you want to do.
I'll just do it, you know.
I remember I met with you second year of your studies,
Yes.
and you told me I want to do this, I want to do that, I will do this, I will do, this is what I remember about it. The first thing comes to my mind.
Yeah.
I met the second year of your studies, you told me the master's degree, and you completed.
Yeah. I mean, I just needed to find out what I wanted to do, because the earlier you find out, the earlier you start working on it. So that helps you to build up one step ahead. So you're actually going forward like that. So deciding help you to see the future kind of on your way, on your career.
My advice would be just get on it and get started and never quit. If you see that it's not working out, it's okay. You can start something else. And don't listen to negative people, because especially when you're starting out maybe a new career or a new business, or people around you might say, oh, you don't have experience, how are you going to make it? But if you know that you can do it, believe in yourself, you will make it. So that's my advice, and never quit in yourself.
I love that. My advice for you guys, and I really want you to take it to heart, is perfect your charisma skills. Your charisma skill will be one of the most important skills you can have. Make yourself likable, make people admire you, feel impressed by you, and once you become charismatic, things will be so much easier, much faster on your road to achieving your dream career or position. You'll meet people in your way that will like you and will want to help you. You might meet a partner that will open many, many other doors for you as well. So focus on career skills. Just go on YouTube, how can I be charismatic?
Charismatic leadership. From which week? Week 2?
There you go. Go on.
Week 3.
And also, Diana, I remember you at Maybar from, but did we make a conversation about your CV?
Yes, you remember?
Yes, I remember everything. You had talked about your CV, then I told you to check engage to get one-to-one appointment. Do you remember this?
Yes, I think at that point I had a terrible CV, so thank you.
No, I can't say terrible, but I told you our university has this one-to-one appointment. So I told them in 6 we had a big program and introduced him. So
Yeah.
So take seriously, yes.
I did do that, I used it, I had an appointment, yeah.
One-to-one appointment for interviews to get your CV.
Aaron?
I want you to know that on this journey, none of us are alone, and there are great resources that we could use that would help us to find our way and to find ways to get over any obstacles we may come across. Because especially at the university and the people around us who, for instance, your professors, they already have been there, and whatever you ask them, they'll understand you. Although our life, we are all unique, but on our journey, there are people who have been there, and I don't think that's, all I'm trying to say is that don't feel lonely and reach out when you need help, and you will find support, and you would be surprised how much support you will find actually. So be aware of your power and people around you. So.
Thank you to our brilliant panelists and to our students for their attention. We now have time for a Q&A session. Feel free to continue to post your questions in the live chat or ask via Mentimeter, which you can access through the link and entering the code in the chat. I now pass this on to Alex.
Thanks so much, everyone, for all the questions and also, the questions we posed for now. But we've got some questions in here, but I'll start with the first one. think business management students have the opportunity to do a year-long placement. And someone's asking, now that you have worked for a bit, do you think it's more useful to do a year-long placement or a 3-month internship? Or what would you do if you were still a student? Do you think you'd go for a year-long placement?
Yeah, would you like to go? Yeah.
I would say internship is really good because that gives you enough experience to work on a specific field. But if you can't do that, of course, placement is really good as well.
Basically, whatever you can do.
Yeah.
Whatever you prefer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, whatever you can put your hands on, just do it. But I'll go for a placement, to be honest, because it pays better for longer and you don't have to stress about graduating too soon, I guess. I think it gives you more time to think about career goals.
For me, I would say internship, but also whatever you like to go for. I think replacement is, is a very good option too, because you get to, they are traveling to another country, right, to study?
No, they don't have to do
So
the
they have
placement
1 year.
abroad. They can do it abroad, they can do it in the UK.
Okay.
I think there's options, but I didn't do a placement there as a student, so I wouldn't know, unfortunately.
In the UK, you don't start the UK, but it's like a normal state job, 1 year.
Yeah,
So after that, they go back to university for their last year of their studies.
yeah, I think both is okay. Yeah, both is good options.
I just feel like a year in work is more valuable than only 3 months in an internship.
Agree.
Sorry?
Agree with you. Agree, definitely. Please.
They usually send you to do other things.
Yeah, thanks for, did you want to say something, Diana?
Yeah, I was just talking with Aram. We were just saying that usually doesn't even make you do anything difficult because you're students, so they'll just be like, oh, just do this whenever you're free.
Run things around.
Yeah, bring me coffee. I'll pay anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, go for
I
it.
think both options are okay, but it depends. If you don't want to do it, don't feel pressured that you can't go for placement. So either you can go for it or you just, there's an option not to as well. So don't feel pressured as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for the insight. And for previous panels, a lot of our panelists have said who did a placement here that they secured part-time work for their 3rd year and then got a job offer after they were done. So it's quite useful just to kind of get your head start. Next question is about rejections when applying for jobs. And the student is asking about how did you deal or how do you deal with constant rejection when you're applying and always get a no, or when you get shortlisted for interviews.
You just cry.
Yeah.
You cry yourself to sleep.
And you don't post it on LinkedIn.
And you don't post it on LinkedIn.
In my case, it was a tracking sheet. So when I start job applications, I created a tracking sheet on Excel where I can see all my applications, all the dates I applied, how long does it take, who is the person responsible from that stage, from that interview stage, or who's going to hire me. So I was going to LinkedIn and asking them. That's another story. So on that tracking sheet, the first 20 applications was rejection. So all fails, rejection, complete, straight. And then after 20, between 20 to 30, I was starting getting interviews. And I was just noting what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. So I was actually learning how to apply for the jobs. First 20, I didn't know how to do it. And then after 30, between 30 to 40, I got final stages, and after 40 to 50, I got 3 job offers at the same weekend, paid off really well. So that tracking sheet really helps, because you see what you're doing. You see your achievements, you see your failures.
Yeah. I'll say that also, following up on Matthew's comment, that it's a learning, use it as a learning process, because every interview you learn something different, maybe that you have missing the other one, so that you use it to improve on your next application. So always make it, it's a failure, but not a setback. So just use it as a step to go onto your next level, onto your application process.
Yeah, and I was joking about the crying part, which even though it's realistic. But what you do is, after you get a lot of rejections, you kind of have a self-reflection and you have a strategic mindset and you say, okay, what went wrong? Always ask for feedback after every interview and every test or assessment center that you visit, and that feedback will help you a lot. I think after I got rejected from the Bank of America, I think I was in the last stage to get it. I put a lot of time into that, so I actually asked for feedback, and they told me that actually body language was okay, I performed okay, I knew what I was doing, but I didn't pay attention to the details of the interview, and I had a tendency to kind of over-dominate the conversation and talk over the interviewer and my colleague. So now that's a weakness that I know that I'm working on. So I fixed that, so now it was much easier. I want to pass it on.
It's fine. Are you done?
I don't know what to say.
It's fine. I would say apply again if you're a founder and you have a startup and you apply for an application, for a competition or for a fund or for anything really. If you get rejected, just work harder and bring your project to a level where you can apply again, and that's what I am doing, and it always works, even if it's going to take more than 2 applications. I'm happy to do it because it really helps me to achieve more, and then go to them again.
Just never give up. Remember that we are in London, university students, we are privileged just to be here already, so we have a paramount amount of opportunities here.
Yeah.
Thank you, but I do echo the crying because sometimes you have to have a breakdown to have a breakthrough. So it really definitely helps you to start thinking about what it is that you can do differently. And the next question is for Evelyn. So a student's asking about what skills and attributes do you have to be a consultant?
Basically, first of all, when you're working in finance or accounting and finance, for you to be trusted by the client, you need to have qualification in that field because they need that technical skill. I'm doing SCCA plus I've got a degree in finance, so that helps me to back up when I'm speaking to the client because I can show them that I've got the skills. But for some services, like for bookkeeping, you can do some trainings, but if you want to go for higher, to provide proper accounting, you have to get proper qualifications so that you're certified. Otherwise, the client can't trust you. Because if we are competing together, I'm certified, like a certified accountant, and you're not certified, you don't have any experience, definitely the client will trust me because they know that I've got the expertise to do their accounts. Because it's not just a matter of producing those figures and showing to them, but you need to actually analyze those figures and explain to the client properly how they can use it to improve their services or how to reduce their costs. So those technical things that you can make a difference to your client, it helps as well. But it's not just a matter of just let me get started and just to go ahead with it. You can get started, then learn as you're getting started so that you can improve your skills because so many things keep on changing, so you have to keep on updating your knowledge as well. Especially for taxation, tax changes almost every month. So you have to keep on reading and updating yourself as well, so that when the client asks you something, you already know it in your head. So
I have a follow-up question for you. I know the students are supposed to ask the questions, but because you have your own business, for you as well, do you need somebody to advise you to keep you up with the trends and with the new changes in law?
Yes, we do get, it's very, very good to get like a mentor who can advise you on that, but also to be in line with HMRC, always to check what's happening in the news, like the business news, what's going on, how are the interest rates affecting the cost of living, is that staff salaries going up or down, like they've already increased them to the minimum wage has already been increased, so by April next year, we know that the information has to be communicated to the staff, and also the client has to be aware come that time. So you have to know what's going on, like when they're reading the budget. So you have to know what has changed. Like the national insurance has been removed, so you have to be aware that to tell your client that that Class 2 national insurance has been removed from this period so that they are aware. So you have to kind of keep up to date because like you're the expert for them, they focus on the development of their company. So it's your duty to keep an eye on those information.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying, definitely. And I'll just pick up on the previous question about rejections. So you finally managed to secure a job after applying and finally getting a yes. Can you explain a bit, probably Merritt and Diana, this might be a bit more up your alley, but how did you grow into your role? What was the process of it? Because a lot of people, I guess, feel imposter syndrome, thinking they're not going to be good enough, and people will find out that they're actually just faking it.
That's why I said dedication. I mean, after 20 rejections, of course you would feel a bit down, but I wasn't really feeling it because I knew my skill sets and I knew that I can do it. So that's why I wanted to do that tracking sheet. Every time I do job applications, I was improving, whether in my CV, whether on my the skill sets, whether it's on the cover letter. So constant improvement help you to get to stage. And as I said, on 21st interview acceptance, I just feel a amazing achievement feeling. You know, that is really priceless because you're actually seeing the final results of what you're doing. That gives you an amazing boost of confidence.
In regards to imposter syndrome, I want to add a few things, because I think we will all deal at some point with it, maybe consciously or unconsciously, but the one thing that I want you to remember is to always separate your emotions from your actual actions that you're doing. Be strategic, be logical, and because I personally am a very
overcome the fear of networking? And secondly, how do you network efficiently? Feel free to have a think about it.
I'll go. You network. You know when you first meet someone, those people are as nervous as you are, but it's always good like you take the first step and introduce yourself. Maybe say, "Hi, my name is Evelyn, and I'm the founder of Shua Consultancy. What do you do? And maybe what's your name?" So that person opens up as well, but you always need to introduce yourself first so that you open up. It gives the other person the opportunity to open up as well. But remember, people are very busy, so don't take it so long. Just introduce yourself, and maybe you can ask them, what do you do? When that question, what do you do, opens up a conversation so that the person tells you more about themselves, and then it gives us a chance to see whether you can network with this person, maybe this person can help you in the future, or something like that.
Not everyone feels confident enough to go, events to meet with people and stuff like that. And I think there's a lot of people feeling that way. But I would definitely suggest just start from your lectures. They can really help you. Setanaya was one of my main lecturers, and I still have contact with her. And I remember that she was giving me a lot of opportunities, ideas about what to do. If she didn't know, she was showing me the person you know. So you can start from your own lectures. Go ahead.
very wholesome. I love this question because I never know what to say because it's such a subjective topic. I used to be so scared of socializing and networking and going to events, but I honestly do not understand why, because every networking event and everybody who's going there wants to meet you as much as you want to meet them. And do you guys know what's the spotlight effect?
It's basically a psychological phenomenon where we all subconsciously believe that everybody's watching us as if we're in the spotlight. But it's the same with everybody. Everybody's so focused on themselves that they don't actually care about the little negative things that you are showing them. If you don't look good, or if you stutter, or if you don't know how to articulate yourself, it's completely fine. They don't actually notice these things. What people notice is how you're willing to help them. And everybody's willing to help each other in a networking event. So just remember that, just go out there. Just do it.
You want to say that?
And always keep a smile on your face, because once you break off the smile, the next person will automatically smile back at you. Unless they are really having a very, very bad day, but someone will always smile back at you.
You'll be surprised at how many people you will meet after university that don't actually have any social skills and really closed up with body language. So you have an advantage just by knowing how to articulate yourself.
Go ahead.
Do you want to go
No,
ahead?
go.
Yeah, the main reason I said lecture is because my professor in the master's degree was actually all the people who was interviewing me. So he actually gave me tips to how to impress them.
Can you share with us the tips?
No, he said, okay, those are working in educational technology company, and they want to know what modules you've taken and how you reacted in the projects. What were your achievements in the projects? And she gave me some specific areas that I had to talk about it. So he actually showed me how to sell your skill sets to the right specific person. So lectures are important.
Yeah, I think lectures are really important. The teachers and professors, you could always ask them as well. But also it depends what you are interested. Let's say if you are interested in software design, you would probably try to find an event at Microsoft or Google, and I'm sure they will have some open to public in which you could go and meet with other developers or other people within Microsoft or outside of Microsoft, or same thing for Google. And if you're interested in art, you would go to all the gallery opening here in London, where you would meet probably with other artists and art dealers, etc. So it really depends what you're interested in. And then depending on that interest, you could actually find out where you have to go. And you'll always, I'm sure you'll find a way to. So I think that would be the right way to go and find the right network for your field. In my case, I'm a startup, so obviously I go to Google Startup, Microsoft for startup events, and all the big company startup events. So there I get to meet with other startups and investors and VCs. And I think the skill will develop in time. You will always be very nervous, no matter how confident you are and how good you are with communicating with people when networking. I think it takes time to kind of, open up and be able to be confident and tell them, hey, my name is yada yada, I'm the founder, or I am doing this. So, and then in time it gets better. So, that's my advice. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And networking doesn't have to be very scary, so it can also be just reaching out to someone and then they reconnect you. So I got an internship opportunity when I was a student that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've come to the end of the panel. Thank you so much. A round of applause to you.